Good evening, Flosstube. It's May the 1st, it's Friday evening. I'm just popping on to Flosstube to update you on what I got up to in April and what I plan to do for Maynia, as we are now into Maynia. This is a YouTube channel that's mostly about cross stitch and knitting this time, occasionally sewing and reading, depending what else I've had a chance to do. I am Caroline. I live in Leeds in West Yorkshire in the UK, and I can be found around the internet as Caroline A. Kemp. And Caroline is spelt with a K, on both Twitter and Instagram, and on my blog at carolinescorner.blogspot.com, and I will put all the links. I'll be in the show notes, which are on my blog, and I will put the link in the box below. If you're a returning viewer, thank you very much for coming back to see how I'm getting on. If you're new, welcome to my channel. I hope you like and subscribe. Thank you to everyone who does like my videos and comments. They're very much appreciated. Thank you. How's everyone getting on? We're modelling through this end. My husband and I are both still working. We're both trying to juggle working from home with wrangling the kids through their schoolwork. My daughter, thankfully, is incredibly self-motivated and just cracks on with it. My son's a slightly different proposition, and he's 9. He doesn't see why he should do anything other than play on the Xbox, but we're getting there with that one. So, what have I been up to? I have a finish. You don't see many of those on this channel, unfortunately. If you've seen my last video, you know I was incredibly close to finishing Scottish Sampler 1757, charted in the dust jacket of the Goodhart Sampler book from Needleprint. What I'll probably do is shoot a separate video and insert it, giving you a close-up picture of the finished sampler. But it's an absolute beauty. I'm really glad to have it finished. It actually, when I showed it to my husband, he turned around and told me he really liked it, which is high praise indeed, because I have to tell him to put his glasses on and look at stuff. Stitched in needlepoint ink silks provided by Needleprint on what I think is 35 count lambswool linen, because that's what it called for in the chart. I got the kit at the launch of the Goodhart Samplers book at the Ackworth School in 2008. So 12 years down the line, well 11 and a half, because it was December 2008, I'm now finished. When you last saw this, I just had this corner to go. I think I was part way through the Adam and Eve. And they are now done. Like I say, I shall shoot a bit of a close-up video so you can, with it flat on the ground, so you can see better the finished things. But other than that, absolutely thrilled to have a big finish. So I don't get many of those, so we'll put this back up here. So having finished this one, I've 3 slots in my rotation, a large piece, a small or medium piece, and what I call class pieces, because ones I got at seminars or retreats or where teachers. So I pulled out, having finished a sampler, I've now switched back. I've got my class pieces fall into 2 parts. They're either samplers or they're sets of smalls, and I'm trying to alternate between the 2 because I'm about the same number of both of them. So I'm onto a set of smalls now, and this is my oldest class piece. It is, I took the class back in 2006 with Hanging by a Thread in London, and the teacher was C.A. Wells, and she designed this 3-sided reticule for Susan of Hanging by a Thread to commemorate the fact that that was her 10th year anniversary of teaching for her in London. So I had a little bit done before I picked this back up, but not much, just some of the cross-stitch borders. So what I've done this time round, because I've had a few days on it, is get all the cross-stitch borders finished, and I'm busy doing I'm almost done on I think I've only got one of the sides of the reticule left to do with the 4-sided stitch. That's the time-consuming bit of a C.A. Wells piece. Once you get onto the actual stitching on the sides, they go quite quickly. Lovely colours. I think they're Karen silks. C.A. never liked to share what her colours were, but the overdyes are definitely water lilies. I have a note on my pattern that says this one is Succotash. So I think CA may have actually been quite forthcoming on that one. So hopefully that won't take me too long to get stitched up. Finishing, on the other hand, might take a while. I've also got a companion piece to go with it, which is a little kit to line a Lauderay bonbon box, because it was CA's inspiration for the reticule, was the triangular packets that the Lauderay almonds come in. I say, I took this back in 2006, so kind of need to get it done as well. So yeah, quite pleased with my progress on that one. Otherwise, I was working on the other whips I have in progress. My Emblem of Love from With My Needle, Ellen Chester. As I've mentioned in previous videos, I'm stitching this because it's my silver wedding this year, and this is going to be the commemorative sampler. Because we're now on lockdown, I'm actually getting to stitch every night, which I didn't do before, so I got quite a bit of progress in last time I picked this up. I think last time I showed it to you, I was on this motif here, and obviously I've finished that one. I've got those 2 done, all the little motifs in around this one, and I've started on the next big one. I'm almost at the halfway point on this one, which I'm really pleased about. I'm really happy at how quickly it's growing. I'm stitching it on 32 count Lakeside Linen Luna, vintage, I think it's vintage Luna, that I'd had in my stash, so I don't know if this is a colourway they still do. Most of my stash Lakeside is from when I was in Silk Weaver's Fabric of the Month Club, which was 15 to 20 years ago. So, okay. And I'm stitching it with a Vicky Clayton silk conversion. Again, Vicky is no longer dying, so but I had these silks were gifted to me a long time ago, so it was time to get them used. I'm really enjoying the nice soft colours of these silks. Blues in particular are lovely. It's the darker blue. And of course the last whip I've worked on is Dorothy Walpole from the Scarlet Letter. So slow, steady progress on Dorothy. Let's see if I can get her all in. Just about. When you last saw her, I was working on this leaf here, which I've gotten finished. So it's a bit more stem, and I'm onto this big flower motif. And I think once I get that big flower done, some of the rest should go fairly quickly. So anyway, onwards and upwards. I'm hoping I can get Dorothy finished this year. That's certainly my goal, but that's been my goal for the last 5 years, because that's how long I've been working on her. She's stitched on pearlized 40 count pearlized barley from Lakeside on their Italian linen base. Again, I don't think that's available. I've had it in my stash for best part of 13-14 years, with the DMC, called for DMC conversion. So, having updated you on what I've been stitching for the last month since I last recorded, should we go talk Maynia? I first participated in Maynia last year. My plan is to do what I did last year, which is a small handful of new starts, and then in between, so I'm going to start a new piece tonight, and then one on every Monday of the rest for the rest of May. And in between that, I will use a random number generator and pull one of my whips. I have about 30 whips, and so you should see some different projects through this, hopefully. See what the random number generator pulls out. And I will actually get a lot more stitching in this Maynia because I'm at home. When I'm commuting to work, I generally don't stitch on a Tuesday, Wednesday or Thursday, because we're running around after the kids. There isn't much time, so that's when I tend to pick up my knitting. With being in lockdown, obviously I've been stitching every night because I'm using some of my commuting time to do my knitting, and having time for these things because we're not paying mum and dad's taxi all the time. So my start tonight, as it's the 1st of May, is Plum Street Samplers, The Beekeeper. Now, I got this when it was a Nashville exclusive kit for Northern Crafts. Paulette has since got the rights back to the pattern and released it, so I figured it was time to get the kit stitched. So the kit came with all the call for DMCs, Weeks Dye Works, sorry, it's been a long week. Again, there's a really lovely red in there, so I'm looking forward to that one. And it's 35 count Northern Cross, natural Northern Cross linen. So that will get started tonight, worked on tonight, and then I will put it down and see what the random number generator pulls out. I'm planning on trying to do a vlog through Maynia, and I'll try and update on a weekly basis, just so that when we get to the end, my update video isn't absolutely massive. So that's tonight's new start. Then the following Monday, next Monday, I'm going to start Pinwheelie from Old Colonial Designs. I've tried to pull stuff I've had in my stash for a while in some cases, and it's all kits. It's well, with one exception that I want to stitch. So it's on a small pot. I got the linen, and I've got the threads, which is DMC and One Gentle Arts. And I honestly don't think that I had this kit twice, and I stitched it once and given it away as a gift. I honestly don't think this will take me very long, so I may even get a finish, but you don't know. I don't think I'll get quite that much stitching time, but when I do get back to it, it won't take long to do. Then I'm going to start one I'm really excited about. This is Blackbird Designs Moon Garden. I bought this particular chart on a trip to Elegant Stitch when I was last in the States in 2005. Because it's a design I've always loved. So it's definitely time to get it stitched. I need to get some blackbirds done. So my choice of fabric it's a Lakeside Linens. It's called Sienna Night, 32 count. I can't remember what the chart called for 28 count 18th century rook from R&R. So I had this in my stash. Again, this is a one I got when I was in a Fabric of the Month club many years ago, and have kitted it up with the Call For threads. And the Call For threads really pop on this fabric, I think. If you can see that. So they're all Gentle Arts. So I'm really looking forward to doing that one. Then the third Monday of the month, I was very kindly gifted this Mary Cox kit, complete with the box, by a very good stitching friend a couple of years ago. So it doesn't want to sit in my stash for ages. It needs to get stitched. This is the Williamsburg Folk Art sewing box with accessories. So you stitch a little pin keep, needle case and scissor case. The linen is this, it's just described as hand-dyed green. I'm guessing it might be Weeks Dye Works. And it's the threads for it. Again, not one that should take long once I get onto stitching it, hopefully. So we'll see how much stitching I get. My last new start on the last week of the month, however, will take a while. Teresa Wensler, The Guardian. Kit also bought on a trip to the States, but I think that was a trip I made in 2002. So I've got 28 count even weave that came in the kit, and all the DMC. Open this out. This will be my fourth big 2W I've stitched. You've seen my first, if you've watched my first video, you've seen the first one I did, which was the castle. I've also stitched Floral Bell Pull, which I gave to my mother-in-law as a 70th birthday present, and Dragon Ride, which I gave to my husband's godson. So time to do another big one for myself. I stitched a couple of her little dragons, Castles in the Air and Tempest in a Teacup. But yeah, Guardian will take a while. Right, they've all fallen on the floor, but on account of being on lockdown and account of not having to pay for commuting or coffees or lunches or breakfasts like I normally buy at work, I've been splurging on a bit of stash. So if you just bear with me, I will stop this video, collect everything up, and then we'll start again. Right, having collected everything up, it was I had a little bit of a stash avalanche. Yeah, because I got to the end of the month and I had more money. I didn't realise how much I sort of generally just disappeared. I got some new stash. I definitely succumbed to Hands Across the Sea's little gems, because obviously instant gratification because they're downloadable as PDFs. So I picked up all of those. So I've got Mary Stead, Sarah Spencer. I think this is my favourite of the ones Nicola's put out so far. She might be the first one to get stitched. I love that honeysuckle border. The Checkerboard House. And Mary Eliza Macmillan. They all had to come live with me. And then there were a couple of orders with Patchwork Rabbit and Peakside Needleworks. I got this old chart by Brenda Gervais, Good Deeds, because it's one that's been on my wish list a long time. One of the new Blackbird releases, All Joy's Thine, because got to follow the law as laid out by Brenda in the Sampler Stitch serial starter, because you've got to buy the Blackbird. That was Patchwork Rabbit. And then from Peakside Needleworks I got Scarlet House, Sarah Redfern. Again, I just love the honeysuckle border. Heartstring Samplery, Coffee Drinker's Confession. I think I may put this one on my desk at work. I don't have a problem with coffee. I have a problem without coffee. And heavily influenced by Carol Saltbox Stitcher, and I think Brenda might be doing this one as well. Elle Genders sewing roll, which is again has been on my wish list a while. And this old one from Plum Street Samplers, Count Twice, Stitch Once, which to me is crying out to be made into a drum. Don't know what you all think when I finally get around to stitching it. So that's all my cross stitch. Like I said, when I'm going to try and do weekly vlogs for Maynia, so I shall hopefully be able to pull that off. I've got a bit more time, a bit more time at the moment, so it shouldn't take me as long to edit and upload, hopefully. Although one of my husband's decided he's going to upgrade the house Wi-Fi network. I think he knows what he's doing. Anyway, right, I'm going to pause this and then get my knitting stuff together, and then I'll quickly run through that, and then it will be time for tea. Right, I'm back. I've got all my knitting things together. First off, I hit a milestone on my socks. I have one complete sock. Last time I showed you this, I just had the toe decreases to go, and I've got them finished. This is the Shell Cottage Socks by Helen Stewart of Curious Handmade. I'm knitting these in some Knitting Goddess British woolen nylon from her, that she died as a club back in 2016. It was called Back to the Discworld, so shortly after Terry Pratchett died, and the colourway is Dark Morris. I'm pleased with how these have turned out. Very much not Helen's usual. Helen Stewart always designs with such nice muted palettes, and these of course of anything but I think the patterning works okay. I have cast on the next sock, obviously not got very far, just a couple of rows in. It's the yarn in the head. So just keep plugging away at those when I need something small to pick up. Mostly, however, I'm alternating, as I've said in previous videos, I'm alternating between a garment and a shawl. The shawl I'm knitting at the moment is from the Drift collection by Eden Cottage Yarns, and it is the Swale Hap by Carrie Westerman. There we go. I've making really good progress on this one. It's going to be a bit difficult to display because I'm in the process, the right way round, of doing the applied edging. Last time you saw this, I was just about to start all the stripes. So I have completed the middle stripe section, and so I'm on the applied edging, and it makes a really nice change to be doing a lace edging when you're not doing, when your rows are only 14 stitches long. Really enjoying how this one's turning out. It's being knit in Eden Cottage Yarns Whitfell DK. This yarn is now being discontinued, unfortunately. I bought it when the book was released 4 years ago at Yarndale. This colour is fuchsia, and the dark grey black is charcoal. Yeah, so I'm really hoping, because I shall be picking this back up again next week, that I can get it finished in the next week or two. That would be good, because I'm flying through the edging. I'm about 3/4 of the way through the edging. No, 1/4 of the way through the edging already. So we shall see how we go. And my garment project is also showing great progress. It's the Sinister Catdigan by Marna Gilligan of Anne Kattenberg. And I am halfway across Sleeve Island. When you last saw it, I was up here. I just cast on for the sleeve, picked up the stitches rather for sleeve, and I picked up stitches on this side last night, so I'll get a little bit further on the sleeves before it gets put down to work on the shawl again. You can't not make good progress when you've got so many judgy cats watching you. Look at them all, just going, why aren't you finished? What are you doing? Yeah, really enjoyed working on this one. That, and I also have my daughter going, why aren't you finished? as this is for her. The yarn I'm using is Kinross 4-ply from We Country Yarns that I bought at Yarndale last year. The dark grey is Granite. The white is Quartz, and the pink is Orchid. Again, absolutely loving knitting with this yarn, so I would definitely get it again to do more colour work. It's really nice. On the subject of Marna Gilligan, she recently released her first book. It's called Cat Knits, and so I had to pick up a copy, obviously, and my daughter's been through and told me how many of them the charts in here she really likes. There's a whole range of different catty sort of knits. I quite like this cardigan. And the cowl. And a whole sweater full of Georgie little cats. All the designs in the book are knit in Eden Cottage yarns. So Victoria at Eden Cottage had done a special bundle if you bought the book through her. So I did. I bought the bundle, which came with a cat in a sweater, tote, which I think is going to be the bag I'm going to transfer the cardigan sweater into for a project bag. Came with a special Eden Cottage yarns project bag with cats going bah. A couple of badges. There's one that says Eden Cottage Cats, and a Cat Knits book badge, and some stitch markers of the cats wearing designs from the book. And cute postcard. Again, cats wearing designs from the book. I also bought, because I should have been going to a yarn festival this last month, and obviously that was cancelled, Spring into Wool. I did buy some yarn. I had indulged myself with some from Kettle Yarn Company. The green, beautiful green, is called Kelp, and this colour is Julep. My plan with these is to knit the Ivy Over the Door wrap from season 3 of the Shawl Society eventually. We'll see when I get there with these. And that's about it for now. I need to finish off so we can go and have tea. I can get this uploaded and edited and get everything away, and then sit and stitch and start the Beekeeper, which I'm really looking forward to. I hope everyone continues to keep well and follows official advice and whatever the official advice is wherever you live, because I know it seems to vary wildly depending. And you will stay safe and well, and I will hopefully speak to you in a week or so with my first week's blog from Maynia. Okay, take care and see you soon. Bye bye.